Chosen one. 1. This message has been stopped 3 times in the last 72 hours, not by a technical failure, not by a coincidence, not by some random disruption in the space around you, but by something that understood exactly what was inside this message and did not want it to reach you. And today, against every barrier placed in its path, it found you anyway. You are exactly 21 days away from either the greatest breakthrough of your entire life or the complete unraveling of everything God has been quietly constructing inside you while the world was not watching. And what happens in those 21 days depends entirely on one thing you are about to understand. God just said 4 words, not suggested them, not recommended them, commanded them. Close your mouth now. That is what he said. Not a gentle spiritual nudge, not a friendly heaven-sent reminder. A command spoken with a fury that moved something in the spiritual atmosphere the moment it left his lips. And the reason he is saying it now, in this season, in this window of your life, is more important than you currently understand. And he said it with a tone you have never heard before. Not fury at you, but fury for you. Not anger directed at your choices, but righteous fire directed at the forces that have been systematically using your own mouth against everything he has been planting in your life. God is not disappointed in you. He is not tired of you. He is incensed on your behalf. And this is how the war turns in your favor. Chosen one, listen to this carefully. Every word you shared about what God was building before it arrived. Every late-night conversation where you described the vision to someone who had not yet earned the right to hold it. Every prayer request where you announced the blessing out loud before God had sealed it in the unseen realm. Every excited message where you revealed the plan before the enemy had a chance to be caught off guard. In the past 6 months, every single one of those moments was intercepted, measured, and weaponized. They have been quietly building a psychological timeline of your collapse. They know when your faith falls below a certain threshold. They know the exact form of discouragement that weakens you most. They know the specific voice and the specific conversation that will make you stop and say, "This is not working." According to everything they have calculated, you were supposed to give up 13 days from now. They have already scheduled the blow, the door that closes without explanation. The news that arrives on a day when your hope is already running low. The moment designed to make you whisper to yourself, "See, I knew it was never going to happen for me." But not today. Today, something broke through every barrier placed between you and this message. Because what you are about to understand about your silence, about the sealed mouth, about why God is furious at what has been leaking from your lips, is the exact intelligence that cancels the timeline they built. This is not a message about being timid. This is a message about becoming strategically dangerous. And there is a very specific difference between those two things. There is a specific kind of person who arrives at this moment, and I see you clearly. You are not faithless. You are not careless. You have been showing up in the dark, trusting a process that has not yet produced visible evidence, carrying something God gave you without any external confirmation that it is real. You have been working in silence, hoping in silence, believing in silence. But there is one pattern, one specific pattern, and it has been costing you breakthroughs you will never be able to trace back to their real source. You have been sharing too soon, not in a way that disqualifies you, not in a way that makes you unworthy of the assignment God placed inside you, but in the exact way that a general announces his strategy to the opposing forces before the battle begins. The strategy is still sound. The general is still capable. But the surprise that was supposed to decide the outcome is gone. and what was designed to be an ambush becomes a confrontation they were fully prepared for. There are three specific forms this premature sharing takes in the life of the chosen one. The first is the dream share. This is when God deposits something in you in the quiet hours, a vision, a direction, a clarity that feels unlike anything you have received before, and by morning, you have already described it to 3 people. Not because you were wrong for the excitement, but because what God plants in the secret place was designed to grow in the secret place first. The roots must form before the exposure can happen safely. Joseph received the dream of elevation when he was 17 years old. He was full of the gift, full of the clarity of what had been shown to him, and the words came out before he had fully understood what the vision actually cost to carry. He did not measure who was sitting across from him before he opened his mouth. He did not count the silence before he spoke. He released the overflow of the gift without considering the ground he was releasing it into. And the pit came before the palace because of it. The vision was real. The calling was genuine. But the timing of the telling cost him years. The second form is the plan share. This happens when God begins opening a door in your circumstances, when an opportunity starts to take visible shape in the distance, and before it has fully materialized, you have already walked someone through every detail. Not because you chose poorly in who you told, but because some people in your life were assigned to your last chapter, not your next one. And sharing your next chapter with your last chapter people is not openness. It is the transfer of sacred information to an unauthorized receiver. Think about every time you have felt that specific deflation after sharing something God gave you with someone who responded with doubt, with questions your faith was not yet ready to answer, or with the well-meaning discouragement of someone who loves you but cannot see what you see. That deflation was not the death of the vision. It was the wound of a sealed thing, exposed before its time. And the wound changes the way you carry the vision afterward. God assigned specific souls to your next season. They are almost never the loudest voices in your current circle. The third form is the victory share before the victory is sealed. This is when the breakthrough is almost there. You can feel it approaching, and you announce it as though it has already fully arrived. Not from faith, from anxiety, because a part of you has learned that if you do not speak it out loud, it will not feel real enough to hold on to. But the seal was never in the speaking. The seal has always been in the silence that gives God room to finish what he began, without interference from the voices of doubt that your announcement invites. This third form, the premature declaration of a thing that is still forming, is the one that has cost you the most. There is a man in sacred history who understood something about strategic silence that most teachers never fully address. His name was Nehemiah. He had received a vision to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, walls that had been broken rubble for 141 years, that everyone around him had accepted as permanent. He was not a general. He was not a prophet in any traditional sense. He was a cupbearer in a foreign palace. He held no title that would have explained what he was about to accomplish. But he had the vision, and he had the one thing the enemy did not anticipate. He had the wisdom to seal his mouth around the plan completely. Before the work began, Nehemiah went out at night alone and surveyed the broken walls while the city slept around him. He told no one what he was planning. He let no detail escape into the open air before the foundation was in place. He assessed everything quietly, prepared everything in silence, and only then did he speak. And when he finally spoke, it was not to announce, it was to mobilize. The walls were rebuilt in 52 days, in the face of enemies who mocked, threatened, sent letters, and organized meetings designed to pull him away from the work, because they never knew the plan until the plan was already half complete. The enemies of Nehemiah said, "What are these people doing? They wrote that even a fox climbing that wall would break it down. They organized meetings to distract him. They sent letters designed to make him afraid. They calculated his weaknesses and aimed at them. And Nehemiah did not attend a single one of their conferences. He did not reply to a single provocation. He did not call a meeting to explain himself or defend his direction. He prayed, he built, and he sealed his mouth around everything that was sacred. And when those walls rose in 52 days, the enemies were the ones standing with no response, no strategy, no prepared retaliation, because Nehemiah had never given them a map. Chosen one, you are in a Nehemiah season right now. God gave you the vision. God has been providing the materials. And the enemy has been constructing his strategy from the intelligence your own lips have been providing. That changes today. If you have ever announced a blessing before it arrived and then watched it dissolve in ways you could never quite explain, type 444 inches, the comments right now. That number means foundation. It means God is reinforcing the ground beneath what he has been quietly sealing in you, even as you sit with this message. Beneath the pattern of premature speaking lies something older than a bad habit, something that has been operating so deep beneath the surface it no longer feels like a pattern at all. It feels like personality. It feels like enthusiasm. It feels like faith. But in its root it is none of those things. In its root it is a wound that learned to speak before it learned to be still. In the original Hebrew, there is a word that most modern translations collapse into the simple word secret. The word is sod. Sod does not simply mean something hidden. In ancient Hebrew thought, sod referred to the intimate counsel of God, the private chambers of divine strategy, the closed inner room where what God is building first takes shape before it is released into time. The text of Amos 3 verse 7 says, "Surely the Lord does nothing without revealing his sod to his servants, the prophets." His sod, the inner chamber, the counsel of divine intention that forms before anything is spoken into the visible world. When God shares his sod with you, he is not giving you information to broadcast. He is giving you an invitation into the very room where he forms what he is building. The inner room is a place of deep trust. It is the space where God speaks to you as a friend speaks to a friend, not in riddles or in public declarations, but in the quiet confidence of something shared between the one who knows everything and the one being trusted with what is coming. And what lives in that inner room is not meant for the public hallway. Not yet. Not until the appointed time of its release has arrived. The premature announcement problem is not a discipline problem at its core. It is an intimacy problem. The chosen one who shares too soon has not yet developed the relationship with holy silence that honors what it means to be invited into the sod. They received something sacred and did not know how sacred it was. They moved what was given in the inner room into the open air before the seal was complete, and no one taught them what sod meant or what weight they were carrying when they carried a revelation that came directly from the counsel of God. What he gave you in that quiet moment, in that 3 am clarity, in that sudden knowing you felt while driving in silence, that was sod. That was the inner room speaking into your spirit. And it deserved a silence that matched its weight, and it still does. The fact that you received it means you were trusted with it. And the silence that God is calling you into now is not a punishment for sharing too much. It is an invitation back into the trust. But I want to name something that most teachers skip entirely in this kind of message. Some of you have not been speaking prematurely out of carelessness. You have been speaking prematurely out of a very specific and legitimate guilt that no one has ever named for you. You have been pulling away from people. You have become quieter in circles where you used to be fully present. You have felt the calling separating you from conversations and spaces that used to feel like home. And when someone who loves you looks at you and asks what is happening with you, you feel a deep pressure to explain yourself. Because in the world you grew up in, silence has been misread as pride, as distance, as rejection. And you love the people in your life. You do not want them to feel abandoned, so you speak, not from excitement, from guilt for having outgrown a room that was never built for who you are in the process of becoming. You speak to relieve the guilt. And in doing so, you transfer the sacred thing from the protected inner room into the space of someone who was not assigned to carry it. I want you to hear this very clearly. You are allowed to grow without explaining the growth to everyone who notices. You are allowed to become something new without filing a report on the process. You are allowed to outgrow spaces that were designed for a version of you that no longer exists. You are allowed to be misunderstood in the middle of your formation and to carry what God placed in your sod without anyone else knowing its contents. You are allowed to be the only human witness to your own preparation. And you do not owe a single word of explanation to anyone for the silence that God Himself commanded you to keep. And I hear the Father speaking over this moment right now. I hear Him saying, "My child, what I have prepared for you is too significant for you to protect with the mouth you have been using. The words that have been leaving your lips in anxiety have been feeding the very fires I have been working to extinguish on your behalf. I am not angry at who you are. I am furious at what has been taken from you. And I am telling you now, before those 21 days expire and before the blow they have scheduled arrives, close your mouth, seal what I am building. Let your silence become the weapon they never saw coming." And here is something that most people never hear in this kind of message. There is actually a way to strengthen the very architecture of the mind that makes this level of silence possible. A neuroscientist in New York, a doctor who spent 2 decades studying what happens when the brain operates at its full synchronized potential, he discovered something connected to a specific form of alignment between the 2 hemispheres of the brain that most adults have quietly lost without ever knowing it happened. I am going to tell you exactly what he found later in this message, because it connects directly to why some people can hold their vision in silence even under the most intense external pressure, while others cannot. But for now, hold this question open. What if the restlessness, the mental fog, the reason the vision feels blurry and words escape before they should, what if that was not a character flaw, but a measurable and reversible condition? Keep that question with you. Here is what you need to understand about why this silence is so difficult for the modern chosen one. You were not designed to struggle with stillness. When you were a child, before the world began its systematic reshaping of how you process silence, you had a natural relationship with the unresolved. You could hold something without needing to speak it into certainty first. You could receive a thought and let it develop in the dark the way a photograph develops, slowly, without exposure to light, until the image was fully formed. You could carry a vision without needing to distribute it to someone else in order for it to feel real enough to keep. Something happened between that version of you and the one sitting with this message right now. And what happened is connected to why the silence breaks down under pressure. Because when the mind is operating in a fractured state, when the 2 hemispheres of the brain are not communicating in the synchrony they were built for, the interior life becomes intolerably loud. The unspoken feels like it will collapse under its own weight if it is not externalized. And speech becomes a regulation strategy rather than a spiritual choice. In Psalm 46 verse 10, the text says, "Be still and know that I am God." Most people receive that as a gentle invitation to quiet down. But in the original Hebrew, the word translated as "be still" is Rapha. And Rapha does not mean passivity. Rapha means to release the grip, to stop the striving, to open the hands that have been gripping the outcome with words and announcements and explanations. Be Rapha. Stop speaking your way into the result. Stop trying to announce your way into the breakthrough. The moment you release the grip of your mouth around this thing, that is the moment God can move without the interference your speaking has been creating around what He is building. This is not spiritual instruction alone. This is a description of the exact state your brain was designed to operate in when both hemispheres are working together as they were built to work. When the two sides of the brain are synchronized, the anxiety-driven impulse to speak prematurely, the inner pressure that makes you reach for the phone to tell someone about what God just showed you, that pressure naturally decreases, because a whole and coherent brain does not operate from survival fear. It operates from settled knowing, and from settled knowing you do not need to speak a thing into existence. You hold it, you protect it, and you wait for the time of its release. I want to be clear about what God is asking of you. What He is calling you into is not weakness. This silence is the most aggressive spiritual posture you can take right now, because the enemy has been building his entire strategy against you on the intelligence you provided. Every word you shared became material for a case. Every plan you described became a map they could plan around. Every blessing you announced before it arrived became a target they could position for. But when you seal your mouth, something decisive happens, not slowly over time, immediately. Every weapon being constructed from your declarations collapses. Every trap positioned at the end of the path you described out loud becomes a trap with no one in it. Because the path you sealed in silence is the path they